Today's fairy tale is a wild and epic Turkish fairy tale, a story about how people have passionate opinions about fiction and really just can't help blurting them out sometimes. Same, from Andrew Lang's Olive Fairy book. A pasha, someone of high rank in the Ottoman Empire, has a son who's playing with this golden ball. He's also a douche because when this old woman comes to the well with a clay pitcher, he throws his ball at it just to break her pitcher, just cuz. She doesn't say anything because he's the pasha's son, and he does it a second time, and when he does it a third time, she curses him. I wish you may be punished by falling in love with the silent princess. He doesn't think about it again until he grows up and becomes a young man, and he starts to worry about it so much that he gets ill and is wasting away. So he finally tells his father about the curse, and his father's like, go out into the world and find the silent princess. And he's like, okay, thanks, I will. He sets out with his steward and finally finds this mountain with a palace where a princess sits behind a bunch of veils and never says anything. As the prince is climbing the mountain, it says fresh blood ignited his veins, but then he sees men's skulls everywhere. They keep going and come to another village closer to the palace, and the people tell them what's up there. If you want to meet with the princess to try and get her to talk, you have to get permission from the Sultan, her father. And so our dude decides he's going to wait until he can figure out how to make her talk, then ask permission from the Sultan, because if you fail, you become the skulls on the mountain. During this time, the prince buys this nightingale, and his steward is like, why waste your time? But it turns out the nightingale can talk, and the prince tells him, his situation. The nightingale says, I got you. Take me hidden under your cloak, and when you're brought into the princess, put me behind this candlestick. And when she won't talk to you, say, oh, I'll talk to the candlestick instead. Then when you talk to the candlestick, I will reply, but no one will see me. So he does this, and when the nightingale talks, she says, no one's talked to me for a while. I'm going to tell you a story. A king sent 3 suitors to all learn something within 6 months, and whoever was the cleverest would get his daughter. So the first one learns how to travel a year in a day, another one how to see things at a distance, and a third how to cure any illness. So then when they come back, the princess is sick and dying. The second one apparently saw this from far away, and the first one, who can travel fast, went to go get the third one who wasn't with them and bring him back, and the third one cured her. And so then they all argue about which one of them really should get the princess. The prince and the nightingale / candle argue about whether it should be the second or the third, and suddenly the princess bursts out, it's the first one. Without him, it all would have been useless. And then she's like, a slave has overheard and goes to tell the sultan, but when he comes back, the princess through signs says, well, that didn't count. He has to make me talk 3 times. He does the same trick the next night, and this night the story the bird tells is about this woman who has refused to get married her whole life, but then finds a gray hair and is like, I'm gonna choose between these 3 suitors. She tells the first suitor, my dad's dead, but it turns out he was a wizard because he's not in his grave, and if you go lie down in his grave for 3 hours, then that will free me of his spell and I'll marry you. He does. Then she tells the next suitor, hey, my dad is a wizard who is lying in his grave. If you go smash his head with a stone and kill him, I'll be free of him and I'll marry you. So he does, and he kills him. Then she tells the third one, hey, if you bring me the body that's in this grave, I'll marry you. So he goes and gets that guy's dead body and brings it to her. Again, the man and the nightingale argue whether the second or third had done the best, and the princess bursts out and says, no, it was the first. Then she's like, but it's still only the second time. He has to get her a third time. So they do the same thing the third night. The last story is about a carpenter, a tailor, and a student who all live in the same house. One day the carpenter makes a statue of a woman, the tailor dresses her in pretty clothes, and the student prays to God to make her a living woman. She comes to life, and then of course they argue about who gets her. The prince and the bird say, is it the carpenter or the tailor? And then the princess bursts out the third time and says, no, it's the student. He's the one who prayed to make her alive. After she speaks, the 7 veils fall from her face, and of course it turns out she's the most beautiful princess in the world, and she says, you have won me. So they get married, and then my favorite part happens. They send for the old woman whose pitchers he broke when he was a kid, who kind of sent this whole thing into motion. They bring her to the palace. She becomes a nurse to their children, and she lives happily until she died, and she deserved it. So it's a great ending. As always, check out my reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, Dust Spells, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.